question is, this is for Mr. Islam. Sir, you have been associated with the solar projects, solar power projects. So if I say, I just want to understand, can renewable energy alone meet India's growing energy demands, considering its large population and rapidly expanding economy and infrastructure needs?
Sohail, the thing is, India is rapidly expanding into the renewable energy sector. But the thing is, if you can say that can only renewable energy uh, cover all the demands of the upcoming generation and also the upcoming load and everything. So the thing is, yes, of course, it can be done. There are like different kind of options which we are going into. Like if you will see about pump storage, we are going with battery energy storage, but the thing is the cost viability at the moment is not that good. Lot of extra works, new inventions have to be done wherein the cost commercials come down. So of course at some point of time we have to go 100% green, and that is possible, but still it will take a time of like 30 to 40 years wherein we replace all our fossil fuel plants by this renewable energy, be it hydro, be it pump storage, be it using of BESS. But of course, that is possible, but it will take a timeline of 30 to 40 years down from now to get into that picture, because end of the day, our demands are increasing a lot. And with the demand, the thing is, the technology advancement is also required. And of course, like in some of the places, like if you will see in some of the places in Africa where there are no grid line, they are still working with remote solar plants with battery energy storage wherein they are operating. But the thing is, with the increasing demand, the technology too has to advance, but it will take some time, but it can be, of course, done.
The only point is renewable. Yes, it is possible. No issues. Land wise, not a big thing, because if we even if we cover half of the desert of Rajasthan, I think it will supply whole of Asia. That's statistics given by somebody. But the only issue we are exploring is storage, because if you spread solar panels on the desert, then daytime it will give power. What will we do in the night time? So a lot of work is happening in the storage system. And battery, as you know, is not very costly. It is not totally environment friendly, and the life is short. So daily discharge and charging, it will be costing high. So now all the work is going on in happening in hydrogen as a storage. So if we can evolve a technology by which we can generate hydrogen at a cheaper price, and then the hydrogen can be used as a storage and also as a transportation device, because the hydrogen can be transferred from one point to another by a pipe, like an LPG or PNG kind of thing. So once the hydrogen technology is cheaper and is available commercially, this total dependence on renewable is possible, and without any hitch, like intermittency is the main problem, that can be taken care. So apart from funding, the research work which is happening in hydrogen is also one of the issue which I wanted to add. Thank you.
I will also add something to that.
Right, sir.
So this is the question concerning everyone. This 24/7 availability of renewable power, till it is available, our dependence on conventional thermal plants will continue. And that has been realized by the government. It is only very recently that government has projected 80 gigawatt of thermal plants, new thermal plants to be commissioned. All the big players, Adani's and ONGC and NTPC, plus JSW and all, even Coal India Limited, and then Vedanta Limited, they have plans lined up, and these plants are coming just to see that we are not depending only on solar, which is not likely to be possible in the near future, because base load requirements have to be met by the solar, this thermal only. Even the peak load also has to be taken care by the thermal. So thermal is going to remain, they are going to stay. They are not only going to give us the continuous power, but they are going to keep the grid stable, because they are stable systems. They have good SCR values, they have good inertia, And even the weak systems, once they are connected to the solar, they also become strong and they are able to deliver. So to get a maximum out of solar, we need this thermal also to continue for some more time.
Yeah, actually, there is no problem to switching to the innovations or something. Problem just, the current situation, if I say you like the ground situation which we people are facing nowadays is like the people those are already working in thermal power plants, we can't throw them out. We can go to, we can have that totally innovation systems in the power plants, but that is not practically possible. So coming to the innovation is not a problem. The problem comes that the manpower which is working now, where we are going to throw them out. You can't teach a 50-year-old person the new artificial intelligence or let him learn SCADA, Pythons and all. That's a difficult task. This is the ground situation.
The question is, again, the government has mandated thermal power producers to use renewable sources to generate 40% of their energy. 40% of the total energy will be produced by renewable, rest from thermal, whatever is being produced. So there's a mixed combination of thermal plus renewable, as Mr. Balakrishnan was also explaining about the Dadri NTPC thing. So what impact will this have on thermal plants and an overall energy landscape, and how the power producers are going to do this?
Government has already mandated the use of 40% of like renewable energy with the new thermal plants. That is, I think that regulations came in 31st March 2024. I think the regulation came something around that date. So the earlier plants which are operating anyways, they are still working with the same capacity. But if you are like installing a new plant with a new capacity in thermal, then you have to go with a 40% renewable energy, or it's morely mandated with solar. So the thing is, if you will see with this as a guideline has came, and then all the industries, all the thermal power producers over there in the market are anyways coping up with that, because see, the thing is, I will give you a recent example. I did a solar plant in one of the India's largest steel power plants in Dhule, Maharashtra. So they too, the thing is, they had their own thermal plant operating, and then they took out a big chunk of land for the solar plant. But anyways, they went through it because, and in the end, the thing is, because solar as a mandate it has came, so the producers are following it and they have to do it, because see, the thing is to and the issues which will happen is, there is, see, the thing is, issues, I don't think there are much of issues, but yes, as per government guidelines, producers are following it and they are not also having problem with this, because anyways thermal, they are having RTC power through thermal, but through the power which they are generating through the solar during the daytime, they are also anyways infusing it into their thermal grid and then providing it to the power grid or the substation wherein they are injecting their power. So that's not coming as a problem, which I think.
Virtual power plant, I just want to understand the concept of virtual power plant and what is the current scenario of this in India? So this is a question to Mr. Baldev, if you can explain to us.
Charging station, and you cannot connect it directly to the grid. It has to be through a wire media that could be called as a virtual station, you must call it. And you have to store it there. And it may be coming from another plant, which will be the actual plant. And this is the virtual plant, which is having the storage only. And it is catering to the requirement as and when required. And when it is not in use, it is being used for storage. And when you need it, it is available. And if you go for direct grid connection, if you take the supply directly from the grid will collapse, because grid doesn't support such a heavy, you can say, inflow of the charging power current. So we have to go via this, you can say, charging points, which you can call them as virtual stations.
So it is a central control room kind of thing, in which all the energy sources are coming and they are distributing and they are managing from there. So this is being managed even now by, say, load dispatch center, or even in NTPC, we have a central control room in which is managing all the power plants outflow and the grid demand. And whenever some plant is going out or something, some unit trips, then it gives instruction to other units to increase the power generation. Similarly, the grid is having also your dispatch center, which is managing the demand side, and they are interacting each and every time. So this is happening already, but the only thing is the term is new, virtual power plants, but these things are being taken care already. Thank you.
Idea of this virtual power plant is a concept wherein, like suppose with the availability of the battery energy storage systems, so if I put a solar plant in, maybe I say in Jaisalmer of Rajasthan, and then the thing is I have a transmission line wherein I can bring the power and store it in a battery to the city next to Jaisalmer, and then if I control it centrally through a like a SCADA or a PLC kind of system wherein I am getting what's the stored power in the battery and then discharging it to the grid at the time of use, it's kind of a way wherein a virtual power plant works. But like the thing is, some of the disadvantages of this is because generally what happens is whenever you are injecting power into the grid, so there are anyways some kind of transmission losses which you are having already once you are injecting the power. So with the virtual power plants, what my concept or what my thinking is the losses which the end power which will be provided would be a bit higher than a normal power plant which is having the evacuation or the injection point nearby to it. So a little bit of transmission losses will be extra into these kind of, but like Balakrishnan sir told very correctly, so this also the virtual power plant concept is also a concept wherein multiple power plants are being managed from a central location, or you can say a central control room or a central power plant kind of area, wherein if suppose 5 or 6 plants are running in a trajectory together, and if some plant goes down into its production, then the other plant can increase its capacity to achieve the overall production. But according to my thinking, the transmission losses would be a bit the losses, the end power which we will get will be a bit lesser if I go into the first situation which I told you.
Before we wind up, I'll just have one closing statement from Mr. Balakrishnan Kamath.
Thank you. And yeah, this was a very interesting evening or afternoon for me. I learned a lot, and I think I could speak out what I was thinking, and the audience might have got some insight into the different aspects of power technology and hybridization, modernization, and I think they can take away that renewable is here to stay. Thermal power we cannot do away with. We have to live with it. So the best way is to modernize our thermal plants. New thermal plants should be flexible enough to take the demand side variations and also generation sides as per the renewable generations. So with this, I thank you also, Sohail, and Madam, who have conducted very well. Thank you. Thank you very much.